start getting live.
The only good New York teams right now, the Rangers and the Nets. That's it.
So let's see if let me make sure the volume is on.
The Knicks have been terrible.
Yeah, the Knicks ain't doing well. All right, so we're hot, man. We're back on. This is the first inning show, and yeah, man, we still got some news to talk about, and we're gonna talk about how can we improve the fan experience at Yankee Stadium as well. So we're gonna get into those things, but yeah, man, it's sad to see that the Mets are doing everything the Yankees were supposed to do. But today we have both our guys, Michael Caputo and Roger, the big Yankee fan, on. So say hello, guys.
Oh, good evening. How you doing?
So yeah, man. I can't believe it, man. The Mets is doing everything the Yankees were supposed to do. You see that?
Yeah.
It's sad, man.
Yeah, I see it, and it makes me sick. But you
sad,
knew that
man.
The Mets were going to do this because they have a rich owner. They have a billionaire owner, and the Yankees had to make moves very fast because Cohen wants to drive basically the Yankees and other teams to do better, I think. But the Yankees don't care. That doesn't make them. They just don't care about anybody. So they don't care about winning championship, and they don't care that the Mets are going to outdo them now every year in the offseason. I mean, this is a pure example of why the Yankees are just a bunch of losers.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to a point where it's getting farther and farther away. Like, the chance of winning a championship.
And yet the Yankees, I'm just so sick and tired of it. One of these reporters and all these people going to say the Yankees are irrelevant because they make the playoffs every year. Once they miss the playoffs multiple years in a row, then this team will be totally irrelevant. Then they won't be that team no more. Then they'll just be. That's it. They'll be completely done. They're going to be a team that is going to be forgotten about forever. That's what you have to wait for when they miss the playoffs. When they finally miss the playoffs, then that's it. That's it.
That's going to suck.
You want to talk about, I go into the history bit, but when I was a little kid, before Steinbrenner bought the Yankees, they, at that point, were irrelevant. The South Bronx was burning down. Yankee Stadium was crumbling, and George Steinbrenner bought the team for $10 million, the entire franchise for $10 million.
Wow.
And so you want to, but I mean, even then, that was quite a bargain for a major league franchise. The Yankees they were really crumbling at that time.
It's true.
But you want to know something crazy? Even back then when the Yankees were horrible and crumbling at that time and they weren't a championship team yet, they were in a better position then, even when they were terrible and they were, far away from winning a championship. This team, I think, is worse. And they actually have, they could be a championship team. They have, those pieces that they could win a World Series, but they suck. And they can't hit in the playoffs. And I think this team is more further away from winning a World Series than that team did when Steinbrenner bought it back in 1973. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
This team is more further away. Let's just say that they're more further away from winning a World Series than they've ever been.
Yeah, they're very far
if they
away.
miss the playoffs, they're finished.
They're very far away, man. It's sad because we were just talking about this. We were saying how Steinbrenner now, all he cares is about saving the money, but his father was about the people, about New York City and bringing a championship to the city.
He loved the Yankees. He loved the team. He was passionate, and he wasn't even from it. He was from Ohio. He was a Cleveland Indians fan. Yes. Originally, I heard he wanted to buy the Cleveland Indians.
Yes, he wanted to buy the Cleveland Indians, and they voted him out on buying.
Yeah.
So then,
who wouldn't want to buy the Yankees, especially back then? They were the most popular thing, really popular back then. And, the Yankees were so popular.
3 or 4 years later, he buys the Yankees, man. And he got Greg Nettles to be a shareholder on the team. And that's how they put it together, man. And he's the... And
I can tell you when Steinbrenner came in, there was a book that was written by a sports writer named Peter Golenbach. And the book was called Dynasty. When rooting for the New York Yankees was like rooting for U.S. Steel. And it covered the years 1949 to 1964. And then right after 1964, they fired Yogi Berra, and they brought in Johnny Keane, who was the Cardinal manager. And by 65, the team was getting older. Whitey Ford was getting older. Mickey Mantle was getting older. St. Howard. And they really started to crumble, and it coincided at the same time that the South Bronx going to have some major urban problems. And,
the Yankees went through a lot of dark days,
It was bad.
And that was the time period up until the early 70s when George Summer bought the team in 73. There were dark days in the late 60s and to the early 70s.
I mean, it's not like the Yankees haven't went to these long droughts before. I'm not saying that they haven't, but I don't want another long drought. We already are in a long drought. It's 13 years. I mean, the last was 18 years. Remember, they culminated the championship in 96, but, I don't want to see this team go into a long drought like that again. I mean, you want to see 18 years, another couple more years.
But one thing I have to say about that, Michael, is if they had the playoff system that they have now, the Yankees would have been in the playoffs practically every year in the 1980s because they won the most games.
They won the most games, but the problem was the division was very good. That was the problem. And they
didn't have the playoff format. They didn't have the wild cards. They didn't have the three divisions.
Yeah, the pitching was lousy. They didn't have starting pitching. They had the offense, actually, but the pitching, I heard, was bad. They just had old man Ron Guidry, and I think a few other guys that were like...
They had Dave Rigetti, who was a very good starter.
They had Tommy John, too, I think.
Yeah, Tommy John left in the early 80s. Tommy John came over from the Dodgers. And
he was...
Dave Rigetti pitched a no-hitter against the Boston Red Sox on July 3rd, 1983. And Dave Rigetti eventually went into the bullpen for a while, but started out as a starting pitcher.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was the good old days. Even though they went to a bad period in the '80s and they didn't make the playoffs, but they just
it's turning that way now. It's getting that way now, man. We're getting back into the '80s Yankees, man.
Well, yeah, sort of. And I don't see the next group of guys winning either. If this group doesn't win, I don't see the next group win. Like the next batch of guys, I don't see those guys winning. Malope and Dominguez, I just don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's going to be. If this team can't win, how's the next team going to win?
I'm not sold, man. They're going to have to, the only way the Yankees are going to win a World Series unless they buy it, man. That's it, man. They got to go out and get the players.
They don't buy it no more. That's the only way. Yeah, hopefully you hope they buy it. I mean, you hope that they win a World Series after they buy it, but the problem is they don't do that. That's why I said this offseason was so important. It was so important this offseason, and they didn't do it. So now you know for sure they're not going to win. I don't think they're even going to get into the playoffs.
And the thing is, too, the Yankees trade off all their great players, so there's really no great prospects to come up and take over neither.
No.
So it's like
the way I see it is, I see it this way. My opinion. We were just doing opinions now since there's no news. I can almost guarantee the Yankees will make the playoffs next year. There's going to be expanded playoffs.
Oh.
I can't guarantee that they're going to go to the World Series.
Well, see, but that's what we want, though. We don't want them to make the playoffs again and then lose again in the playoffs and not win the World Series. That's why I really just rather than miss the playoffs and then just go buy it. I mean, but I don't think either one of those things are going to happen. Yeah, you want them to make the playoffs, but just for an early exit again. They're just going to get knocked out of the wild card or get knocked out of the first round. I'd rather just miss it entirely. Then they could really make big moves. But is that going to motivate this organization to do something? I don't think so. Because they're not doing anything right now. And they lost in the wild card. Shouldn't that have been enough to make this owner finally buy the championship? They lost to the Red Sox. I don't know.
Only time will tell at this point, Michael. You know, we have to get through the blackout right now. The shutdown. You know.
Yeah. Not to mention a lot of these Yankee fans, like I said, post-millennial Yankee fans. I call them. They are the post-millennial fans. They don't care about winning championships. They haven't seen enough winning, and they don't care if the Yankees ever win. The old school Yankee fans, like ourselves,
right,
care more about the winning. We care more.
Yeah, when you think about it, Michael, like say a 21-year-old, the last time the Yankees won the World Series, he was 8 years old.
Yeah, I guess. But they only saw one. See, I saw 5.
Yeah,
I saw 4.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Young adults have not really seen them.
Yeah. And all they care about
5, so.
Right. All they care about is their Twitter account and drinking beer in the bleachers. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many followers they got? You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Yeah, and George Steinbrenner, if he was alive, they hate to hear that line. If you notice, a lot of these Yankee fans, younger fans, hate to hear that, if George was alive. They hate it. Because it's true, though. If he was alive, none of this would have been tolerated right now.
Yeah.
We would have had a championship or two right now. Hal would have not been the owner. He would have been fired. Cashman would have been fired, and Boot would have been fired, and they would have had a championship.
But one of the things I do have to say about Steinbrenner was that George Steinbrenner was starting to get a little bit wacky there. He was following Dave Winfield around, and he got suspended.
Oh, perfect.
And
I know he got suspended twice.
He got suspended, and it was actually good that he was suspended, because there was talk that he would have traded away Mariano Rivera, he would have traded away Derek Jeter, and Bob Watson and Gene Stick Michael came in when George was out of the picture and built the championship team of the mid-'90s.
That's the best thing that happened to him. Even though I love George, it was the best thing that happened to him.
There's a story.
They brought up Jeter and Rivera and Pettit, yeah. So.
Yo, let me tell you this crazy story about George Steinbrenner, man. It's the 1977 World Series, right? It's Game 1, and something happened with Mickey Rivers, right?
Yeah.
And it rubs George Steinbrenner the wrong way. You know, what happened with Mickey Rivers was, he was owed money from the season that he wasn't getting paid from George Steinbrenner. He kept asking George Steinbrenner for this money. So the 1977 World Series, Game 1, his wife goes to Yankee Stadium to ask George Steinbrenner for the money, right? And she goes off on this guy because he don't want to pay her or pay him, right? So he wanted Mickey Rivers off the bench at a Yankee Stadium at that moment. He's batting up, and he wanted him fired, or out of there. So, when the wife leaves, you know what the wife did when she got to the parking lot, the Yankee parking lot? She took her car and crashed it to all the cars in the parking lot, and she destroyed all the players' cars, man. And then she left.
Shit.
Yup, and then she left with her car broken up. Yeah, man, because he wouldn't pay Mickey Rivers some type of money.
Oh, damn.
That was the wild and crazy 70s. And then I
got another crazy George Steinbrenner story. This is
I just wanted to say they put Paul Blair in center field for a while there because of that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But yeah, I got another good George Steinbrenner story. This was what my cousin told me this story, and it's a true story. 1981, when the Yankees played the Dodgers, remember the Yankees won up in the series 2-1. And they eventually ended up blowing it. And in that series, Winfield was terrible. He was horrible in the World Series. He went 1 for 22. And the Dodgers had obviously they were, they made the comeback. And remember this, okay? Before this happened. Oh yes, this was after now. Now the Dodgers made the comeback, and they took the lead now in the series, 3-2. George Steinbrenner, this was against the Dodgers in 1981 in the World Series. George Steinbrenner went in the elevator, and he saw 2 Dodger fans. This is when George Steinbrenner was crazy back then. He was like a lunatic. The Dodger fan, I think he was like drunk. He said to George, he goes, "You could take your choke-ass team and go back to New York." And George Steinbrenner said, "Yeah, go after yourself." And he punched the Dodger fan in the elevator. He gave him like a roundhouse punch, and he knocked him out.
Yeah, I think he hit both of those guys.
That was Steinbrenner's story. He was defending the Yankees' honor.
He was, man.
Yeah, he punched the Dodger fan out in the elevator. That's a true story. And the Dodger fan told him, "You could take your choke-ass team back to New York." And he said, "Go after yourself," and punched the guy in the elevator.
True.
That's a real Yankee fan. That was a Yankee fan. That's an owner that cared about the team and loved the team. You won't see Hal Steinbrenner do something like that. Never. You'll never see him do anything like that.
Oh, he'll walk off,
Never.
man. He'll walk off and cry.
No, he'll walk away. He'll be a coward and probably hold his head down and shame if somebody said that to him. He won't like.
Well, then again, nowadays you can't even do that nowadays because you're gonna be on TMZ and you're gonna be arrested. Then you'll probably give you life imprisonment for just hitting this guy.
I think he was fined for that, though. I don't know if he was apprehended or taken in jail. I think he got sued for that.
I believe he got. Yeah, I think he did get sued for that, but it was. It was.
That was
under the
1981.
table,
Times were different back then.
I think they did something under the table. Yeah, I think. But nothing happened. Nothing came out of it though.
No, he didn't go to jail. That was in 1981. So that was a long time ago. That was how many years ago? Was that 39 years ago?
Going on 41 years now.
Huh?
Going on 41 years.
41, I'm sorry. 41.
Yeah.
Times were different back then. It wasn't like today. If that was today, then God knows what would happen to him if he...
It wasn't quite as litigious back in those days.
No, it was the 80s. It was the early 80s. Yeah. But he literally just took his fist and he just knocked the fan out in the elevator.
That's true.
Crazy. I mean, because the Yankees collapsed and, it probably, got him fuming. And Winfield was terrible in that World Series. I heard he was awful. 1 for 22.
And true, man. And you know something about George Steinbrenner is too that George Steinbrenner fed off the people. Like he cared about the taxi cab driver's opinion about the Yankees. Like if he told you, if the cab driver said Dave Winfield sucks, he was like, Dave Winfield sucks, get him off the team. That's how he was.
I love Tommy Lasorda. I mean, Tommy Lasorda was a great manager. Yeah. Obviously, he's Italian, and I loved him. I thought he was a legendary manager. The Dodgers ended up winning that World Series in 1981. So, yeah, I mean...
Tommy Lasorda had a very, very wonderful long life. I believe he lived to be about 93 or 94.
Yeah, everybody loved him, especially, I mean, I just love the history of the Dodgers. I mean, they came from Brooklyn and they moved to L.A. I mean, it's a great story. I mean, look at all the great players that came from there. Yeah, Jackie Robinson, Sandy Koufax.
Yeah,
I mean,
Gil Hodges. Hey, talk about Gil Hodges. Gil Hodges made the Hall of Fame, and he's a Met. You know what I'm saying? The Met manager, and he played for the Dodgers. So imagine that. So
Gil Hodges
I'd definitely be a Dodgers fan, that's for sure.
Gil Hodges managed the Mets in the '69 World Series against the Orioles.
Yeah, he's in the Mets Hall of Fame and all that too. They got a plaque of him and everything. Gil Hodges. Yeah.
What was the play? Roger recalls this. I think it was a 77 or 78. What was the play where Lasorda was arguing with the umpire? Remember, he said he's not coming out of it. I think he was out. One of the players in the Dodgers was caught stealing. I think, right? And what didn't?
I believe you're talking about. Are you talking about the '78 series when Reggie Jackson stuck his hip out?
Yeah.
A double play a play was taking place, and Reggie Jackson was on first base, and he clearly did stick his hip out and deflected the ball and allowed the Yankees to score a run. And Tommy Lasorda went out and had a fit.
Yeah, he went ballistic, Lasorda.
Yeah.
He was he's not getting. He told the umpire. I heard the whole thing.
He's right in the baseline. He's right in the baseline. He was screaming.
Yeah, he was screaming. He didn't want him to come out. He thought, because he was. I think he was out, Reggie. Wasn't he really called out? Like he was tagged, or was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back. I vaguely remember it. Reggie Jackson stuck his hip out, and the throw was coming to first, where they were going to complete the play, and Reggie deflected it. And when you see on the slow motion replay that he did move his hip a bit to deflect it and knock it away.
That was a legendary call from Lasorda. That's one of his Hall of Fame moments. Don't forget that. What about George Brett? That was ridiculous. The pine tar bat. Everyone remembers that one.
He went crazy. What? That was 1983,
that was 1983, wasn't it, Roger? 1983.
Yes, it was. What happened there was Greg Nettles came to Billy Martin and said, check George Brett's bat. And Billy Martin went out there, and sure enough, the pine tar was above the label, and they called him out. And but then they reversed it, and they had to finish up the game. The Royals did end up winning after they.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, after all that.
That was Yogi Berra's call. That was Yogi Berra's call.
Played it like a joke at that point. Billy Martin put Ron Guidry in center field, put Chris Davis at third base, and they played it like a joke at that point when they had to replay the final inning.
Yeah, man. A guy got caught stealing, right, for the Yankees. So Yogi Berra knew about the pine tar the whole time, and Billy Martin wanted to go out and tell him, but he was like, "Nah, hold it, wait till we need it." And then when the guy got caught stealing when he was safe or something like that, and then that's when they told him, and that's when they went. That's when he hit the home run, and then it was like, "Nah, man. Check the pine tar."
That's when the days of
check the pine tar on that bat. Hold up, buddy. He's like, "Wait a minute." They was waiting. See, Yogi Berra was waiting. He told Billy Martin, just wait for it.
Speaking of
he hit that home run. He was like, "Yo, check the bat."
History here. Speaking of Yogi insists that when Jackie Robinson stole home plate in the 55 World Series that he was at. Yogi insisted until his dying day that Jackie Robinson was out when he stole home against Yogi.
It's true.
Yeah, and I did see the replay. It's an old game in the 50s. I think he was out. It looked like he was out to me. Yeah, I saw but they did show the replay of that game when Jackie Robinson was running home. And you know what? Yogi was right.
Yogi's glove. He slid right into Yogi's glove. It's just a matter of whether his glove was in on the plate or how far enough to get him before his foot touched the plate.
Yeah, he took that to his dying day. That was unbelievable, man. That was the year. I mean, I'm telling you, all those years, the 50s, the 60s, 70s.
1955 World Series.
But I'm saying in general, like, the years, all those years with the managers, it was just a different era, man. It was no analytics. All those managers, those were managers when those were days when managers were managers. I mean, you didn't have analytics. They were just old school managers. I mean, you just had all the classic managers. You had Joe Torre. I mean, you had Bobby Cox. You had Tony La Russa. You had Mike Socia. I mean, there was so many. Like, what about what they called him, Captain Hook? Well, that guy was a legendary manager too. Sparky Anderson.
Yeah,
Sparky Anderson.
Detroit Tigers, right? Yeah,
man.
Tigers, yeah.
Those managers those were the best managers. I mean, you don't have managers like that today, man. It's just different now.
Yeah, at the time of the 50s, they had Casey Stengel, and Casey Stengel was brilliant. But Casey Stengel played this game where he did not want anyone to really understand what he was saying, so he spoke a language called Stengelese, and it sounded like a gibberish jargon, and it sounded like mixed up. And when the Yankees hired him for the 49 season, they were saying that the Yankees were hiring a clown as a manager, and they ended up leading them to 10 World Series.
Yeah, originally Joe Torre, before Joe Torre got the managerial job in '96, you know who originally was supposed to be the candidate? Well, there was actually quite a few. They say Tony La Russa was supposed to be originally the manager. They said Sparky Anderson. There was a lot of, they said Jim Leland. So imagine if those guys got the job. Had it be different, who knows if the Yankees would have won all those championships. Maybe they were great managers.
I remember when the day Joe Torre was hired, I was walking home, and I picked up a newspaper, and I sat down to sit down and take a rest, and I turned to the back page, and it said Clueless Joe.
Yeah, because at the time it wasn't a good hire, because he was just always, see what Torre was, he was a great manager, but every single time he took all these teams into the playoffs, they lost every year. He never won anything as a manager.
He had an under 500 record as a manager. He had managed the Mets. He had managed the Braves. He had managed the Cardinals. And he played for all three of those teams, too. And then the Yankees and the Dodgers at the end of his managerial career were the only teams he managed that he never played for. He managed the Mets.
He was a great player. He was a great baseball player, too.
Right. He was a catcher.
You have to see. I saw the team. You have to see the team video. I think it 1977 when he's the manager of the Braves.
No, he managed the Mets in '77.
No, so what's the year?
In the early '80s.
All right, so it's the year when he was when it's when the Braves go to the World Series and lose or something like that, or they go to the playoffs and lose. Is that year that he's the manager?
Oh yeah, that was about 1982.
Okay, so there's a team video. There's a team video. I saw this on YouTube. You gotta Google. You have to Google this, man. And it follows Joe Torre around the dugout and the bases, and you hear him talking. This guy sounds like he's talking with the Yankees, bro, and he's doing it on Atlanta already. It's wild. Yep. You have to see that, man. I mean, you'll be like, this is like if he was on the Yankees talking.
Yeah, was he cursing? There was a video where he was actually cursing a lot too.
He does curse too, but he's saying a lot of stuff like the Yankees, like I mean, man, it was a great video, and they did make it to the playoffs. I don't know how far. I don't remember how far they made it, but
it might have been 1982. It might have been that year, but there was a video too that I was watching. They actually it was all uncut. The video, he was cursing and everything. It was unbelievable. It might have been a different video, but watch the video. He goes nuts, Torre. He had a couple of blowout fights with with umpires too, where he got kicked out of the games.
Yeah, man. I only got to slap Joe Torre's hand, man. That's all I got to do, man. Remember when the beam fell in the old stadium? The beam?
Yeah.
Remember in the old stadium in 1996, was it? Was it 96?
Right, they had to play a game at Shea.
Right, so me and my friend from high school, right? We was watching the Yankees on New York 1, right? And we was like, yo, let's cut school and let's go to the game, right? So what happened was we cut school, we stayed into my house, we watching New York 1, and they were interviewing the players and all that, talking about how they're gonna go to Shea Stadium. So we seeing this and we like, yo, we watching the players get on the bus to go to Citi Field. Shea Stadium, right? So we was like, oh man, maybe we could make it and beat them there. So we got into we had a friend to drive us over there, right? To Shea Stadium. So we got there before the buses got there, right? And check this out. Me and my buddy and the guy that drove us, we met them as they got there, and they came off the bus in uniform with their cleats, their bats, and everything, right? And we were high-fiving them as they got off the bus, bro. They were all in uniform. That shit was the dopest thing ever, man. And they went back, to Yankee Stadium on the bus in uniform.
Damn. Right. They did that a few times. Do you remember when they played the doubleheader, the one game at Shea and the one game at Yankee Stadium? At this point, they were having major league play, and the Yankees rode over there in their gray uniforms and came back, wore their uniforms over and came back. And Roger Clemens pitched the game when they came back to Yankee Stadium. I think that was even the game where he hit. Where he hit
he threw the bat at Mike Piazza.
He hit him in the head first during the season.
Oh, that was that game?
But I'm going to tell you something. Joe Torre's, I think, one of his really awful moments as a Yankee manager. Well, there was two that comes to mind. 2004, where they blew it to the Red Sox. They were up 3-0. In 2007 against the Indians, where those bugs came on the field, those gnats, whatever they called them. The midgets. He even admits to this day that he should have called the game, and he should have took all his players off the field. He writes it in his book that he says that was one of the biggest regrets of his career as a manager, that he never took the players off the field, because had they take the players off the field, they would have won that game.
I know John Chamberlain was pitching at that point.
Yeah.
That destroyed his career,
one of the biggest regrets of his whole managerial career, that he never took the players off the field when all those gnats were on the field. I mean, that was terrible conditions. How the hell were you able to pitch in that? They were all over his face.
They couldn't. And it turned out that the spray that they were using was actually attracting them rather than repelling them.
Yeah, Java came into the game, and it was a 1-0 game. Andy Pettit pitched a masterpiece in that game. He pitched his heart out, and then Java looked like he was cruising. And then that I don't think it was the second inning, because he pitched 2 innings.
And do you remember who was pitching for the Indians against the Yankees?
Yeah, it was Carmona, Fausto Carmona. I think his name was Carmona.
Oh, it wasn't CC Sabathia?
No, that was Game 1. Game 1 they lost, and then Game 2 was the other guy. He was apparently like their second ace of the team that year. He was
Fausto Carmona.
That's it. That was the guy. Yeah, and the Yankees hit him, but then I don't know. The Java came in and he lost the ball, because the ball went. It was a wild pitch because of the stupid midgets. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, we have a lot of Yankees history. Holy cow. That's what we have to talk about right now, Yankees history, because baseball is shut down. I mean, and I know BX wanted to talk a little bit about how to make Yankee Stadium more fun. And
I think they need to make it more intriguing, because it's been an awful experience, to say the least, lately. The last couple of years we're going there, because the fans don't even want to watch games. All they want to do is go and eat and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of things they have to do better.
Yeah, it's true, man. They have to maybe change that food court around. I don't know, man. It's a lot, because Because you just spend your time online trying to buy food. You know what I mean?
But when you guys go to Yankee Stadium, right, Frank? Will you guys eat there? Like, do you ever eat there? What's? Because I never ate there once. I mean, I ate in the old stadium, but I never ate Yankee Stadium, the new one.
I normally bring my food in when I bring stuff.
The only thing that I would eat, honestly, is the steak sandwiches, which are good.
I heard the Philly cheesesteak is really good.
They're really good. And the Lobel's meatloaf sandwich, and there's a brisket, I think, sandwich too. Those are
and they have that steakhouse place that's supposed to be good. Don't they have a Hard Rock Cafe in there?
Yes, they do. I've been in there a few times, but only a couple times. It's very expensive, you know.
No kidding.
I bring stuff in, like I bring my sodas in, and sometimes I eat after. When we come out, we'll go over to the pizza parlor or something afterward.
Yeah, I mean the food, I guess, is they're good. It's just very expensive, but I mean it's you got to have like a lot of going on you.
I think the Yankees should go back just to the basics of food, like the small hot dog for $2 or whatever. Yeah, bring the people back. You know what I mean? But now
they need to go back to the basics, period, with this new stadium, because all people want to do is eat there and explore.
I mean, there's really nothing to see there. I mean, the majority of what the people are doing, they're just getting drunk. And they're just partying, like, you know, they're in a party within themselves. They're not watching the game. They're just at the game. You understand what I'm saying? It's a difference. Nice.
Basically.
Nice. Okay, good. But yeah, man, it's like
see how anyone can get too drunk there.
That's my thing there. It's like they're having a party, like, especially the bleacher creatures. Let's talk about these guys. These bleacher creatures. Yeah. That's all they do is go there is to have beer, drink with their friends, and it's like you're not watching the game. You're not into the game. Like, you know what I mean? You just
that's a rowdy crowd, the bleacher creatures. They always have been.
They're there just to be cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just there to be cool, like, and drink beer, like, that's what you do. What kind of fan is that? Like, come on, seriously.
I don't know. They get really drunk.
You know,
they do the roll call. You always record the roll call on the videos.
Yeah, but then that's all they do.
They're a passionate bunch. It's just that, like, you have to know, like, certain rules when you go in the bleacher section. You can't wear a suit and a tie. I know you get killed for that. I never did. I just wear my Yankee stuff. But if you sit in the bleacher section and you're coming from work, probably a bad idea, because they'll boo you. They boo. Obviously they're going to boo you if you're a different fan of a team. They'll boo you if you have a suit and a tie on. Yeah. And other reasons you get booed too. They'll just boo you for the hell of it.
Yeah. They will often chant, "Box seats suck."
They used to.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, man.
Years and years,
They don't do none of that stuff no more. All they do is the roll call, and then you don't hear nothing from them, like, for the rest of the day. It's like a gimmick, man.
I remember the old what's his name, Vinny. I don't know if he's not part of the bleacher creatures anymore. He was the old bleacher creature guy, and he was the sunglasses. He's not there.
He's outside of Yankee Stadium, though. He's only outside of Yankee Stadium selling T-shirts.
And I don't get that part. Well, why is he? I know he's married, he's got kids, he's got a wife, but if he's outside, then why don't he go in eventually? He just stays outside. I don't get that part. I met him once.
Yeah, it looks like that's what he does. He just sells T-shirts outside the stadium. He doesn't go to the game.
Yeah. I met him one time. It was like in 2005 or 6. Yeah, I shook his hand. I said, "Yeah, you're Bull Vinny, the guy from the Yes Road Trip." You know, because they used to have the ultimate road trip show on Yes, and I remember they used to go all over. The Yankee fans, you know, they would have that raffle thing that they would win, and then they would do like the ultimate road trip thing.
Yeah, that was
remember that show.
And they only did it one time. They only did it one time. See, the Yankees should bring that back.
Yeah.
You know? Have people
they don't have those shows anymore. The Yes shows are terrible. I only watch it for Yankee games, and that's it. I never watch Yes anymore. And Yankee Classics, I don't even watch either. They're boring.
Yankee Magazine, the TV show Yankee Magazine, that's horrible. They got this lady.
I don't watch any of the shows.
They got this lady that looks like half dead there, talking in the thing, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? And you got to watch a little video after she talks.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I first started watching the Yes Network, I used to actually watch all those shows, but then I got bored and tired of it. It's the same thing repeated of center stage. It's just the same. Then there was Kids on Deck. I remember all the old shows. I don't watch.
Oh, that was a good one.
Different shows.
That was a good one. Kids on Deck, man. Brought it back. Yeah. You see, Roger, he don't know about the Yes Network because they don't have it over there in West Virginia.
But yeah, the old shows on Yes used to be good. I used to enjoy them more back then. But now, I just watch it for the games and that's it. It's just you're not missing out on anything. And then they have that stupid Yes app. It's horrible.
That's whack too. They gotta.
I do know Yes Network to a certain extent because remember I was up in New York and New Jersey for a long period of time, so I do know the Kids on Deck on Saturday mornings and Center Stage with Michael Kay and Yankees Classics and of course the different types of things. I'm familiar with them.
Yankee. Oh, don't forget Yankeeography. That was another famous one.
I like Yankeeography. I like with Don Sterling.
They used to have Mike and the Mad Dog. That was the best. I mean, when they were together, they were televised. Yep.
They were on in the afternoons.
You know what, too? But I want to see.
Now you have the stupid Michael K show. Can't stand that show.
Yeah, I know. But listen, I want to see the players do like human things too. Like, be out in the street with people and talk to people and. How come the Yankees can't have a day where you go to let's say like autograph day or something like that, right? And you can meet a Yankee player and get his autograph. How come they don't do stuff like that, man? Like so easy. Or maybe on an off day when the Yankees are not playing, you can go to Yankee Stadium and maybe pay some money and get players' autographs or something like that. Come on. There's so much stuff they could do, man. But it's like
a lot of things they could do differently, but they don't do it. So
the only cool thing I seen was when CC Sabathia for Star Wars night, he was dressed up as Yoda, and he was at the gate. He was at the gate handing out. Yeah, he was hanging out. He was handing out the bobblehead, his own bobblehead. Yep. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was dressed as a dying Yoda.
You always go to the bobblehead thing.
Yeah, I got a lot of bobbleheads, man. I got them all up there.
Yeah, man. They did the Garrett Cole one this year too. They did the Maverick one, the Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, BX Bomber. I treated BX Bomber to that game, and he gave me one of the bobbleheads from it.
Yeah, man. But you know who gives out really good bobbleheads? The Cyclones, man. They give out Nickelodeon ones. They got the Steinfeld collection. They got all kinds of joy. I got Joe Torre from there. Let me see if I can show Joe Torre on camera. I got Joe Torre from the Cyclones, which was pretty cool. Let me see if I can show him on camera.
One thing I do have to say, I have to say this, speaking about me personally, is when I go to Yankee Stadium, obviously I'm not one of the corporate CEO people sitting in the MVP section, the legend section. But when I go to Yankee Stadium, I really enjoy my time there visiting with BX Bomber, and we're there to see the game. We're there to see the game, and we might, BX Bomber will do some things before the game. He'll do batting practice. He'll go into the museum, and then I come in and I'm there. I sit down and I see the game and enjoy my time with BX Bomber. So.
And here's another thing that the Yankees don't do. Like the Mets, right? The Mets with the Cyclones, like let's say they didn't give out all the bobbleheads for for Pete Alonso or something like that, and they still have bobbleheads. Yeah. They give it out at the Cyclones. They have a Pete Alonso Day bobblehead. I went there and got a Pete Alonso Rookie of the Year bobblehead, and that was
Another very good video.
So you get stuff.
I remember that one. Yeah.
But the Yankees never do that. The Yankees won't do that. The Yankees won't send bobbleheads to the Somerset Patriots and give them out over there. They'll never do that. I mean, come
Patriots are pretty good at giving things out. As a matter of fact, we got those bags when we went to the Patriot game. Patriots are really good about being fan-friendly.
Matter of fact, I use my Patriot bag every day, man. It's my lunch bag. I use it every day. Someone said Patriots. There it is. I got it every day. It's in my book bag.
Yeah.
But the Yankees don't give nothing, man. It's always a sponsor from somebody else. Like
like I was saying, man, they got to do something this offseason. And from right now, from judging what they're doing this season so far, it doesn't look like they're going to do anything. I really hope they do something. I mean, I'll be shocked.
It seems like they're just going by, like, they're just floating through, like, like, it's like, the hell with it. Like, the people are still come. They know that. They know that you're still going to buy a ticket even though the team sucks. That's the problem that we have. That's the problem we have. We know the team sucks. What they're gonna do. They know the team sucks, but they're like, but you're still going to buy a ticket, though, so... You know what I mean? Just show up.
And then all the Yankee marks and all the Yankee, what do you call it? The Yankee homers, I call them. They're called marks because those are the fans that will support the team. Like, if the Yankees don't win it in like 100 years from now, which is kind of embarrassing, very, very embarrassing. But, yeah, they defend the Yankees despite their shortcomings and still say they're, like, amazing and they're like a god when they haven't won a World Series in 13 years.
At least we're realistic. We're realistic here. We're telling people the truth. The Yankees ain't gonna make it, but they could make it, but they ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
I don't think they're making it.
Man, when I was an 8 or a 9-year-old, Michael, when I was an 8 or a 9-year-old before the Yankee Stadium was remodeled, I would eat across the field and go out onto River Avenue. The Patriots. They would let all the fans walk on the field, and we would all walk out center field and walk out on the River Avenue.
Yeah, now you can't even touch the field.
Those were great times. But like I was just saying, you have to admit the fact that this team is not like relevant. I mean, they have to win a World Series, or else they have to. Because you can't support a product that's a losing product every year. I don't know how can it make somebody happy that they make the playoffs every year just to lose. Well, what's the fun out of that? I mean, how do you get like a high of a team making it every year and losing?
Well, that's the perfect marketing tool, Mike. You got to understand. That's a marketing tool. Oh, we're the Yankees. We make the playoffs every year. Yeah, but you don't win. But they go, but we don't win, but we make the playoffs. So buy this ticket. Yeah. You understand? So it's a marketing tool.
It's an old marketing tool now. It's actually old now because the marketing tool doesn't work anymore. I don't think people are buying into this. Well, actually, you know what? There's a lot of stupid fans that are buying into it.
Well, the kids are going to buy into it. The kids are going to buy into it.
I don't think they had a sellout.
Wow, they didn't. They didn't even get full capacity. After all that, after everything apparently being back to normal, they still didn't get a full capacity.
No, it was bad.
It goes to show you that people don't care. They know they suck. They didn't even come out and support them.
Usually,
they know they suck.
Usually, Yankee Stadium is packed on a Friday. That's when they get their most days, like on a Friday. And last season on a Friday was very bad. I mean, very, very. I mean, Friday looked like a Monday crowd.
They think they stink.
You know what I'm saying? Friday looked like a Monday crowd or a Tuesday crowd. Yeah. That's what Friday looked like.
Because they know the Yankees haven't won in 13 years. They're sick and tired of losing. They know that they're going to get knocked out of the first round of the playoffs every year. So they just don't want to come to the games unless they win a World Series.
They're losing fans.
Start to support them.
They're losing fans because, like I said before, that fan that went to 20 games a year, he's probably only going to go to 5 or 6 games. You know, or 10 games. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to go to many games. They don't care. It's not. It doesn't make you want to go. You know, like when
no.
Like in the 90s, right?
It's not like it used to be. You know.
Like in the 90s with Jeter and all that, the Yankees were winning every day. So it's like, yo, I got to go to the stadium to see them win a game.
Yeah, they were winning constantly.
Now it's like these guys is losing. Do I spend my money? I don't know.
You couldn't take your eyes off of them back then. They were like the team to watch. They were like the hottest thing going in sports. Everybody, even the people that didn't like the Yankees, wanted to watch them because that's how entertaining and exciting they were.
Yes.
And you didn't want to miss a moment of it. Now it's a complete opposite. Now I don't give two shits about the Yankees anymore.
But even say the 1961 season, they didn't go all that well really in '61 when they won 109 games. You know, when they were waiting for when the Roger Maris watch was out, Roger Maris, they were waiting for him. He hit a 61st home run. On the day that he hit a 61st home run, they only had 25,000 in the ballpark, and they were all sitting in right. They were all sitting in right field. You know, trying to get the ball.
They had those years where they were just mediocre and they won, but this team can't do that. In 2000, they weren't that good. If you remember, in 2000, they didn't have a good regular season. They only won 85 or 86 games that year, and they barely made.
They finished with 87. They finished with 87, but they had a terrible.
And that's coming off of 3 championships in a row, and they still and they won the World Series. But this team can't pull something off like that. I mean,
but
the Braves
listen to this, right?
The Braves they won 92 games, and they won the World Series. So,
right.
I mean, the Yankees just can't pull off something like that, though. They just can't. They're just not capable.
It's hard, man. But listen to this, right? But listen to this theory, right? If the players and the bargaining agreement, right? The players want more money, right? How are they gonna pay these players? I mean, are they gonna raise ticket prices, and then they're really not gonna get people into the stadium? You know what I mean? I mean, they're gonna have to lower ticket prices somehow to get people in. They have
but why?
to.
I don't get why would they raise ticket prices this year in Yankee Stadium when they didn't get anybody? Who are you going to watch at the ballpark? There's nobody there.
There's plenty of money in the game. It's a $12 billion industry.
Yeah, I know, but
it's a matter of how it's being distributed. That's all. It's a matter of how it's being distributed.
But the Yankees aren't spending any money. They always have a low payroll every year. They don't even get anybody. Who you want to see on this team that you got to go say, I want to go to a Yankee game because I want to see this guy? There's nobody.
Well, Aaron Judge.
But who else besides Aaron Judge? I mean, like, they don't have any other superstars. Oh, yeah. I know, but they're old. I mean, they're older players, though.
Uh-huh.
They really don't have... DJ LeMahieu was bad. They came off all declines. Gleyber Torres was bad. Gary Sanchez has been bad for the last 4 years. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, man. I don't know how they're going to do it, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, plus, it's not even to get named. It's to win a championship. We want to get these guys so we can win a World Series. I don't want to get them just for show, just to go out to the stadium and look at them. I want to win. But I'm just saying, you really don't come out to the ballpark unless you're going to see Aaron Judge and Stanton. That's about it. I guess, and Garrett Cole. But
I go out to Yankee Stadium to see BX Bomber.
Yeah, man. Thank you. For real, man. But I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do, but... We're going to keep talking about how to improve this stadium because, I don't know, man. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Now, after this show, right, there's only going to be 3 more shows left of the year. Because I'm going to call it quits.
It was a great... I'm going to go get something to eat with my friend.
All right, man.
You know, it's a great show, man.
All right, cool, man. We'll talk to you later.
Michael.
See you then. All right. But yeah, we only got 3 more shows left. Because Christmas Day we're not gonna be here, and for the rest of the year, so we'll be back in 2022.
Right.
So we only got this week left. So we got 3 more shows left, and yeah, we're gonna basically talk about how to improve this damn team and
how to improve Yankee Stadium and do some nostalgia talk because. There's no breaking news in baseball, and so right now we have the lockout.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. It really is.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know how they're gonna do it, man. I really don't know.
But I will say though that I enjoy. Michael feels that, you know, if they don't win a championship, it's not fun. But I enjoy visiting with you. I enjoy the atmosphere of being there. I enjoy the hangout. I enjoy traveling up. You follow what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, like it's all an event for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's you're on vacation pretty much, man. That's your vacation.
Right.
You know,
right.
Man. And you know, that's what we try to achieve, man. You know, I'm not you know, trying to be like these other guys, trying to take people for granted and stuff like that, man. These guys, I don't know, man. But we're here to the end. That's it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We're gonna be here. We'll go to games, and we're gonna document it and show the people, man, what we do. That's
Exactly. I love your vlogs, and the people love your vlogs.
And by the way, I'm gonna have the next one coming out Saturday or Sunday, and then the last one I want to put it out on Christmas.
Wow. Okay, that'll be a nice way to end the 21 season.
Yeah, and then I'll start on the next year. You know.
Exactly, and we're all set.
Well,
you and I, we have our games all scheduled.
Yeah, man. So all we gotta do now, hopefully this thing could be over, man. But if not, I'll be at Brooklyn Cyclone games and some Patriot games. That's where I'll be. The baseball won't stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll do it. Anyway, I would like to. I won't mind riding to Coney Island anyway. You could go over.
No, it's a fun trip. You take the subway over. And you visit. It's all like fun.
Oh, I ride my bike.
The point I'm trying to make to Michael that, it's all fun. And going into the stadium and being with your friends and watching the game. It's the whole experience. You follow what I mean? It's if they don't win the World Series, obviously I'm disappointed. But I enjoy the season, the entire experience.
It's true, man. It's true, man. That's what it's mostly about, man. The experience. And now it's like it's hard to get these kids into baseball, man. At school, right? Before we hang up here, at school, I'll be like, get big and strong so you can be a baseball player. A baseball player? I don't want to be no baseball player. I was like, man. Well, you can be a basketball player then. You know what I mean? I always tell them that. You gotta be big and strong to be a baseball player. I don't want to be no baseball player. Yeah. So the Yankees got to get that over that hump, man. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to end it here. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm starving. And yeah, man, it's been fun, man. We'll be back on Tuesday. And yeah, we should have people comment below on their suggestions on how to make Yankee Stadium better. That's a good one. But I'm down with Bryson, man. Bryson says he's only gonna buy $5 tickets until the Yankees improve. I'll be right there too. About $5 tickets.
Yourself some MVP seats coming up because they're already taken care of.
That was a steal, man. Oh, that was a steal. That was a good seats for that steal, man. I only got lucky that one time on 4th of July where I got that same seat but on the lower level. And I got it for $17.77, the year of independence. So that was another steal. But anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is I've got to set up with sections on the level 2.
Yeah, that's gonna be great, man. Well, anyway, I'm gonna sign off. Thank everybody for watching. I'm out of here. And so long on the next one, man, and see ya.
Take care.
Gotta hang up this thing. I gotta find my mouse.